Good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss the next topic, that is plastering and pointing. Okay. So now, what do you mean by plastering? Plastering is the process of covering the rough surface of walls, columns, ceilings, and other building components with a thin coat of plastic mortar. To form what? One smooth and durable surface. This is the definition of plastering. Plastering is nothing but if there is a wall or any column, anything which is made up of brickwork, stonework, concrete work, you are covering with a thin coat of plastic mortar, maybe lime mortar, maybe cement mortar, maybe combined mortar. Okay, it will give smooth and durable surface. So this application of mortar is called as plastering. Okay, now here the coating of a plastic material, that mortar is there, no, so that coating itself is called as plaster. The process is called as plastering. The material which you are applying is called as plaster. Okay. Plastering on external exposed surface. The plastering on exposed surface is called as rendering. It is the rendering process. So inside if you are applying, then it is called as plastering. Outside if you are applying, then it is called as rendering. Okay. Now what are the objectives? What are the objectives of why you want to do the plastering? Plastering is done to achieve the following objectives. What are those? First one, very important from your exam point of view. Okay, to protect the external surface against the penetration of rainwater. You don't want the rainwater to get inside. Okay, so to stop that rainwater and other atmospheric agencies. First point. Second point, to give a smooth surface in which dust and dirt cannot sit. Large means what? Accumulation. Okay, to give a smooth surface in which dust and dirt cannot sit. Okay, and the third point is to give a decorative effect. To protect the surface against vermin. Okay, now to conceal the inferior materials or defective workmanship. If your wall or any column is made up of some inferior materials, then to cover that one you also apply plastering. That is what? To cover the bad workmanship or defective workmanship. Okay, now what are the requirements of good plaster? So this is also very important from your exam point of view. It should adhere to the background, whatever the wall you are applying, no, so it should adhere to that background and should remain adhered during all variations in seasons and in all atmospheric conditions. Means what? During summer, rainy season, winter, in all conditions it should stick to that surface. It should be hard and durable. It should possess good workability. Okay, it should be possible to apply during all weather conditions. In rainy season also it should be applied. Okay, it should be cheap. It should effectively check penetration of moisture. These are the common requirements of a good plaster. Now types of mortar. How you are going to classify types of mortar depending upon what binding materials you are using, depending upon the durability, finishing, atmospheric condition, location. Okay, depending upon location, you can call it as interior plaster, exterior plaster, like that. So common type of mortars which are used are lime mortar, cement mortar and combined. That is lime and cement mortar. These are the three things you are generally use that on. Now, the mortar which we are going to discuss is first one, lime mortar. So generally the calcium carbonate, lime is used for plastering. Maybe it may be fat lime or hydraulic lime. Fat lime maybe or hydraulic lime you can use. So generally fat lime is preferred. Generally fat lime is preferred because it yields good putty. It yields good putty after slaking, means mixing of water. So generally hydraulic lime is avoided because it will slake. It will slake. Okay. So what is the common proportion you are using? The mix proportion here is, all these things are not required. Okay. So important points I'm just marking here only, so you can refer. Okay. Now the mix proportion, generally the mix proportion is lime is to sand, that ratio, 1 part of lime 3 part of sand, or 1 part of lime or 4 part of sand. So these two things are used. So lime acts as binding material, sand acts as adulterant. Okay, lime acts as binding material, sand acts as adulterant. So 1 is to 3 ratio or 1 is to 4 ratio is generally used. If hydraulic lime is used, then 1 is to 2 ratio can be used. So this is about lime mortar. So lime mortar, here 2 points are there. You can use fat lime or hydraulic lime. Fat lime, maybe it is generally preferred because it will give good putty. And hydraulic lime generally will not give good putty. It will slake very slowly. It will slake very slowly. And common proportion, mix proportion for lime is to sand is 1 is to 3 to 1 is to 4 for fat lime, and for hydraulic lime or conker lime generally 1 is to 2. Okay, this is the lime mortar. So here next mortar we are going to discuss is cement mortar. So cement mortar is the best mortar, that is obviously everyone knows, because it has got strong adhesive property. It is the best mortar for external plastering work, because it is a non-absorbent. So it is preferred to lime for both rooms, inside rooms or external rooms. Okay, because it is a non-absorbent, it is preferred to the lime master and in damp climates. Okay, cement mortar is much stronger than lime mortar. Very important. Its tensile strength is very stronger than lime mortar. General mix proportion, cement is to sand, means what? For 1 part of cement, how much sand you are adding. So that ratio is generally varies from 1 is to 4 or 1 is to 6. Okay, so sand is used for plastering, should be clean, coarse and angular. Sand also should be clean when you are mixing for mortar. Before mixing, dry mixing is done generally. Okay, when water is mixed, mortar should be applied within 30 minutes. Why? After 30 minutes, the mortar will start getting hard. So before getting hard only, it should be applied on the wall. Okay, so what are the points here? First is cement mortar is very strong compared to lime mortar. It can be applied for both inner rooms and external walls, and the common ratio is 1 is to 4 or 1 is to 6, that is 1 cement 6 part of sand. Okay, whatever sand you are using for plastering should be clean, coarse and angular. Before mixing water, so you should be dry mixing that one, and after the mixing, before 30 minutes it should be applied on the surface, that means before getting hard. Okay, so this is about lime mortar. So here next is what? Lime cement mortar, means combination of lime cement mortar. So here lime cement mortar contains properties of both lime mortar and cement mortar. Okay, it has the property of both. So here what is the problem with cement mortar? So plasticity is not much there. So compared to lime mortar, for cement mortar, plasticity is not there. But by adding lime, the total mortar will become more plastic. So it can be plastered very easily, which results in very smooth plastered surface. What is the common mix proportion for lime cement mortar? 1 part cement, 1 part lime, 8 part sand. So that is what here it is written. Cement is to lime is to sand, means what? 1 part cement, 1 part lime and 1 part sand. So 1 is to 1 is to 6, 1 is to 1 is to 8, or it can be 1 is to 2 is to 8. Generally it is generally used. Okay, so here there is a one small table, so you can refer it for different proportions. This is for an additional information. Okay. So here we can see lot of terms which are used in plastering world. What do you mean by background? the surface to which coat of plaster is applied. Maybe wall surface, maybe column surface, maybe beam surface. On that you are applying plaster, no? So that surface itself is called as background. It's called as background. Blistering is what? Local swelling after application of plaster. Means what? In some places some small swellings will be there, that is called as blistering. Cracking means it's a common term. So visible fissures on the surface are called as cracking. On the surface are called as cracking. For why it is happens? Due to the some movements, due to the movement in the background. So that is why cracking will come. What do you mean by crazing? Crazing is the development of hair cracks, very thin hair cracks if they are coming, which are in irregular pattern, then we call it as crazing. Dado means what? It is the lowest part of the wall, plastered wall. It is the lowest part of the plastered wall where special treatment is generally given. Okay. And what do you mean by dubbing coat? This is the process of filling the hollow spaces before applying the main plaster. No, so there will be some hollow spaces, some cracks will be there on the existing background. So filling up of that hollow spaces, we call it as dubbing coat. Finishing coat means the next coat or the final coat which will give smooth surface. That is called as a finishing coat. Flaking means what? Small patches will come out now, out plastered surface. After application of plaster, when it hardens, the small patches will come out. So those things are called as the flaking. It's called as flaking. Gauging means what? Processing the mixing various constituents. The process of mixing the various constituents is called as gauging. Grinning means what? Reflection or appearance of on the surface. A reflection or appearance on the surface where joints, patterns are present in background, in which are present in the background. Whatever the background surface is there, no, it is somehow appearing on the applied surface. So that is called as grinning. Okay. So grounds means what? These are the wooden strips fixed on the background to which finishing is given. Okay, small points, that is grounds. Important are what? Dubbing coat, finishing coat, grazing. Okay, so gauging, flaking. Okay, these are important points. The next point is hacking. What do you mean by hacking? Before application of the fresh mortar, roughening of the surface, roughening of the background surface to make it strong bonding. So that is called as hacking. Keys are what? Keys means small indentation, small openings or indentations or corrugations which act as one strong bond for previous plastered layer and coming plastered layer. So those indentations or corrugations will act as what? Key or bonds. So these are called as keys. Lations means what? When you apply a fresh mortar on a wall and if you travel it continuously, means what? Making that travel and application of travel, so smooth or fine paste, cement paste will come on the top surface, that coming of a cement paste is called as lesions. Okay, that thin layer of cement paste will come out when you excess travel. We will see what is the travel. Okay, peeling means what? Peeling is the dislodgement of plaster work, means what? Coming out of the plaster work from the applied wall, so that is called as peeling. Undercoat means these are the coat of plastered applied under the finishing coat. Whatever the finishing coat is there, no, so before application of that, if you are giving number of coats, those are called as undercoats. So these are the tools used for plastering works. So these are called as trowels. So this is one pointed trowel, bell-nosed trowel. I think you have already seen during the construction of any house. So sometimes these are also called by the name gauging tools. Gauging tool. These are used to apply the plaster and make it almost level To make it exactly level, you use these things. These are called as metal floats or wooden floats. Metal floats or wooden floats, these are used to make a surface a flat or truly horizontal or truly level surface. The trowels or gauging tools are used to apply and approximately level it. Floats are used to make it exactly leveling. These are called as floats. And here, to check the thickness and all, you are using floating rule. So these are some of the tools used in the this one, okay, plastic work. So next point is, how many coats should be applied for plastering? How many coats? So what factor will decide? The background surface quality. The background surface quality will decide how many numbers of coats are required. Okay. So the background over which plastering is to done depending upon the type of wall construction. If it is a random rubble masonry, more coats are required. If it is a coursed rubble masonry, more coats are required. If it is a brick masonry, little number of layers are required. If it is a cement block masonry, very less. One coat is also sufficient. So depending upon the background, depending upon the masonry used, the number of coats will be increase or decrease. Second point is, if the plastering generally done in one or two or three coats depending upon the background surface. Okay. Now if the background or that wall is very inferior quality, to cover that inferior quality, large amount of plastered material is required to cover that inferiority. Okay, so for that thing, generally you apply lime mortar, and lime mortar is generally applied in 3 coats, and cement mortar is generally applied in 2 coats. Okay. Now, Indian standard recommends how many coats for different works. This is the table. If there is a stonework, you can see here, if there is a stonework, you can apply 3 or 2 coats, like brickwork, 3 coats, 2 coats, depending upon the existing plastered condition. So like that, there are multiple layers have been given here. Okay, so can you see here, for concrete and all, the number of coats are decreased here. But for stonework or brickwork, minimum coats they have given 3. Minimum coats they have given 3. So now next procedure is, so generally, this is the thickness. So always first coat on the existing surface is generally called as undercoat or rendering coat. Okay, so what it will do, it will make a level surface, and before that it was a uneven surface. What is the purpose of applying first coat? First coat will cover the inferiority, holes, undulations, and that whatever uneven surface is there, no? So that uneven surface is approximately leveled. So in which coat? That is called as the first coat of plaster. Okay, first coat of plaster. So that means it provides straightening work. It will give straightening and leveling of an uneven surface. It seals the surface of wall to the some extent, prevent rain penetration. Main purpose is to give a level surface. For second coat, the second coat what you are applying is called as a floating coat. It is called as intermediate or floating coat. The third or final coat will provide what? Smooth surface. That is, the final coat will give smooth surface. It is also called as setting or finishing coat. Setting or finishing coat. So the average thickness they have given. First coat and floating coat means what? First and second coat, their thickness generally 10 to 15 mm. 10 to 15 mm, and the second coat or floating coat, the general thickness is 6 to 9 mm, and the final coat thickness should be 2 to 3 mm. So I hope you have understood this one. First coat generally applied for to cover the inferiority, to make that uneven surface level surface. So general thickness will be 10 to 15 mm. The second coat or intermediate coat or floating coat will act as one intermediate layer for the next layer. So general thickness will be 6 to 9 mm, and the final coat or setting coat or finishing coat which will give smooth surface, its thickness is 2 to 3 mm. 2 to 3 mm. This is therefore 3-layer plastering. This is called as 3-layer plastering. If plastering is done in single coat, then its thickness should not be less than 12 mm. Single coat, then its thickness should not be less than 12 mm. Okay, like that. It should be between 6 mm to 12 mm. It should not be less than 6 mm. It should not be more than 12 mm. Okay, for 1